Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Vaishnavi, your favorite mindset coach and tarot reader. So today's video is going to be really interesting and relevant for everybody who's kind of feeling stuck. You feel like everything in your life is going wrong, nothing's working out for you, and it's just getting really difficult to get out of bed. Because I've heard a lot of people say the same things to me. They've been in a slump for very long. They feel like nothing's going their way, everything's just going wrong, and they tend to blame the external world and everything around them for it. And don't get me wrong, I am not trying to invalidate your experience, not trying to say that you're responsible for whatever is happening, but this video is just a way for me to kind of shift your perspective, sort of help you navigate this entire experience in a way that you can actually create the steps that you need to get out of it. Cool. So first, let's talk about why this happens. Now, a lot of times when one area of your lives, and especially in an important area, let's say your work or your money, something that directly impacts you is going wrong, we tend to project that on all of our other areas, especially when our mindset is not in the right place. You may have early childhood conditioning, which tends to push you to think in a negative way. You could have just built this kind of personality over time as well, or you're just in that phase where things are going wrong so frequently that you just started believing and developed this belief system that nothing can actually work out for you. So when this projection starts happening and when you see that one area of your life is going wrong, you kind of start panicking that something else might go wrong as well. And that then just starts pushing you to look at everything that's wrong in every other area, and you slowly start gaining a negative perspective towards it. So let's say if your work is not going in the way that you desire, you would eventually start worrying about money. When you start worrying about money, you get stressed, you get anxious, it starts taking a toll on your health, and your health deteriorates. You start feeling so horrible about yourself, about the whole situation, that you tend to compromise on your social life, you tend to compromise on family time, and that suffers. So it's kind of everything is interlinked. So this projection is what actually impacts us more than anything. Now, one is this, and the second is that a lot of times it is just a bad phase. I know that doesn't explain much. I could use words from astrology like Sade Sati and things like that, but I don't want to trigger a lot of people who don't associate with those kinds of things. So I'm not using those terms. But a lot of times it is that it is a bad phase. It is a phase of life which is meant to teach you something. So unless you learn those lessons, unless you actually try to understand why this is happening with you, unless you introspect, a lot of times these phases will keep coming back in your life. You'll see that it's a recurring kind of pattern. Every time something good starts happening, you see a pattern where it's kind of the preparation of something bad. And most of the time, the reason why it's happening is not because you're unlucky, not because nothing works out for you, it's simply because the lessons that you need to learn to actually sustain that growth, to sustain that good time in your life, you haven't really done that. Cool. So these are the two major reasons that I feel people experience this kind of slump. Now, what can you do to get out of it? I will keep it really simple. I will keep it really short and just the things that you can do very, very easily. And these aren't really things to do, actually, these are more of internal shifts that you need to make. Firstly, starting with feeling the feeling. Now, I know that sounds weird and I know it sounds kind of counterproductive, but what I've seen happen a lot now is people start whitewashing a lot of their negative feelings. They kind of go into this toxic positivity, and that doesn't help anybody. If you're feeling a certain way, if you're feeling really shitty, if you're feeling really negative, if you're feeling like it's the end of the world, decide to feel those feelings for a day or two. Give yourself that space to be in that horrible mood, cry, or do whatever it is that makes you feel like you're actually giving into that feeling. But the trick here is to keep it time bound. You're not going to just dwell in that feeling and wallow. You are actually going to give yourself a stipulated amount of time that, okay, this is how much time I'll give myself. I'll just give it 2 days. I'll feel whatever I need to feel, and then I'm going to get up and do the things that I need to do to get out of it. And the important part is to stick to that timeline. It's not like once you've actually started giving into that feeling and you're like, yes, I know everything's going wrong, everything's going shitty, I feel like crying. The important part is to actually want to get out of it, because a lot of times when you're feeling this sadness, when you're feeling this kind of anxiety, you're feeling bad about yourselves, it gives your brain a false sense of activity that you're actually doing something to get out of it when you're actually not. So don't give into that false sense of activity. Decide that you have to get out of it and do that. So the first step, however, still remains that you need to feel the feelings. Once you've done that, we move on to the second step, is to pick a low hanging fruit. What I mean that by that is that you need to pick an area of your life which you feel has the maximum potential to improve in the shortest amount of time. The area of your life where you have the maximum control, and a lot of times, in most cases, it is our health and our body. um, there are reasons why people say that the moment you start physically getting better, the moment you're physically fit, a lot of the areas of your life start improving automatically, and it's not untrue. But that's not the reason why I'm saying that. The reason why I'm telling you to pick the lowest hanging fruit, in a lot of cases, it will be your physical strength, your physical feeling, how you deal with your body, what you eat, all of that is because once you start doing that and once you start actually taking action towards it and you start seeing results, the chances of you working on other areas of your life also increases. If you pick something like your work, where there are a lot of external factors that your work is dependent on, so there may be kind of a learning curve, there may be a longer time period where it takes for you to see results, but your body, your health, your nourishment is something where results, you will be able to feel them faster. If you take care of your health, if you take care of what you eat for even a week, you will start feeling those changes. You will start feeling fresher, you'll start feeling more energy, and all of that actually then pushes you to take action towards other areas of your life, which is why I am suggesting that you start with your body and the way that you feel. But even if you don't want to do that, if you don't feel like you have the energy to do that right now, pick something else. Pick your social life, talk to a friend, pick money, start working on um, clearing your debt, start tracking your money, start seeing where you're. So just basically putting in active, positive energy into that area of your life, even if you're doing the smallest of things, will make a difference. So once you've done that, once you've identified your area that you need to work on, the more important thing to do here is to be consistent. Now, I know you must have heard this 1,000 times, and you may have tried to do these things 1,000 times and failed at it. But at the end of the day, consistency is what will get you results. Now, consistency a lot of times seems challenging and difficult, is because people take on a lot more on their plate than they can handle. And that's where it is important to break down whatever you're trying to do in really small, digestible steps for yourself. If you're something, if let's say for instance you've picked out the area of your life that you've picked is your health, you want to work on your health, don't decide that you're going to wake up at 5 in the morning, go to the gym, eat healthy, and do all of these things at once, because you're not going to be able to keep up with that pace. Choose one or at the most two things. If you have a history of not being consistent with your goals, not being consistent with taking action, then just pick two things and stick with that and keep them as simple as possible. So even if it is, let's say, dieting, or let's say working out, these are the two things that you want to do. Start with something as simple as walking. And even when I'm saying walking, don't make it 10,000 steps, because this is something that I have personally struggled with and I've done. I'm somebody who is not, I'm not very active. I have a comparatively really slow sedentary life. And when I decided to walk, I took the challenge of 10,000 steps, and obviously it did not happen, because for you to actually accomplish 10,000 steps, you would probably have to walk around 2 hours in a day. It's, I mean, it does. A lot of people say that it takes 1 hour, but it doesn't really take 1 hour. If you're walking at a normal pace, it will take you around 2 hours during the day to walk, and sometimes it can be difficult to achieve. So stick with something as small as 5,000 steps, 6,000 steps. Start with that. The key is to start and do something that you're able to do for a longer period of time. So just start with walking, and then with walking, maybe you can pick up a simpler exercise like doing a Surya Namaskar or doing skipping, something that you don't find boring. So just pick one or two activities that you want to stick with. Once you're done with that, then maybe if you want to focus on your nourishment, if you want to focus on what you're eating, then also start simpler there as well. Don't suddenly go on a crash diet. Don't suddenly start doing keto and extreme things like that. Stick with something simple. Maybe increase your protein intake, maybe reduce your carb intake, and things like that. So, the key here, and what I'm trying to say is that whichever area of your life you pick, make sure that you're simplifying whatever actions you want to take as much as possible so that you can be consistent. Because consistency is what is going to get you results, which is what is going to keep you motivated to actually start working on other areas of your life as well. Now, by the time you come to this stage, I am assuming that you will have become a little bit more positive and a little bit more enthusiastic to actually make these important changes in your life, right? The fourth important thing to do is to work actively on your gratitude. Now, for some reason, this is kind of me coming out of the gratitude closet because it is something that I actively practice, but I kind of find it difficult to talk about. I don't know why, but it is something that's really important. It may seem cheesy, it may seem not helpful, it may seem kind of frivolous that, what is it going to do if I just say thank you for the food I have, right? But you will realize it only after you've done it for a certain amount of time, how it shifts your perspective towards your own life, right? Let's say you're struggling really with your financials. You're struggling with money, you don't have money, and you feel like you don't have enough, and there's so many bills and just so much credit. And but you still have enough to like go and buy yourself a cup of coffee. You still have enough to, order in some time. You just don't have enough for the bigger things in life, but you have enough for the basic, stuff to do. Every time you say start showing gratitude even for the smaller things like being able to buy a coffee, being able to buy a dress for yourself, being able to order in, being able to take care of your parents, being able to even pay bills, certain like electricity bills or whatever, it starts changing your energy around money and around yourself. And this is not just for money, just for everything in your life, right? Even when you're spending money, for a lot of people, they have this negativity attached towards spending money. And I was one of those people where you would feel bad if you're spending money, you would feel guilt if you're spending money. But the way I started looking at it was that I'm fortunate enough that I have the money to spend. I'm fortunate enough that I am capable to buy a certain thing, right? And that really shifted my perspective. Now, this doesn't mean that you go and start splurging and start buying things that you cannot afford. It's just about shifting your perspective about everyday things in your life. And it's not just about money or finances, but it is about everything, even your relationships. I have seen a lot of people, especially people who are recently married, people who are in a romantic relationships, where they compare their partners to other people, where they have a kind of expectation after looking at social media and so on. Uh, but they don't really realize that there may be so many things your partner is doing which you take for granted and which other people's partners may not really be doing, but just because you're used to it and you know that your partner does it and it's not really something that you've thought about, you just take it for granted, right? So the thing here I want to highlight is that gratitude really shifts your perspective and makes you feel happier even when the situation is not in your favor, whether it is a bad relationship, whether it is money, whether it is work, the moment you start showing gratitude, you will also find a lot of things around you shift. Your mood will shift, the way you take action towards things is going to transform. And once that happens, you will actually start seeing different results. If you keep acting out from the same place of negativity, you will keep doing same things, you will keep having the same thoughts, same action, and same results. So at the end of the day, everything really boils down to your mindset and the way that you approach things. And once that changes, you will see a transformation in every other area of your life. So let's just recap about everything that we discussed that you need to do. One, feel the feelings. Second, pick an area of your life where you can take immediate action. Third, be consistent. Fourth, show gratitude towards whatever you already have in your life. And the fifth thing, which I feel people will be more resistant to and will probably um, not understand why it needs to be done or how will it help, is building um, consistent spiritual practice for yourself. I know that it may sound like something that you've not done or you don't want to do or something that doesn't seem really relevant. And I'm not trying to push an agenda here, but when you have a spiritual practice, it could be anything. It could be a 5 minute meditation, it could be a 5 minute journaling. It gives you a space and time and place in your day to actually introspect about your life. And that really reduces the amount of time that it takes for you to get out of these negative situations. Again, it is just another way to build on your mindset, but the path of it is a little bit spiritual. And you may want to take it or leave it, but it has really helped me get out of anxiety, get out of really bad mental situations. And it can be something as simple as just meditating for 5 minutes, and I don't think that's really difficult to do. uh, but start with that, and there are tons of meditations and guided meditations that you can do. Tons of spiritual practices that you can customize. You can just use an AI tool and customize a 10 minute or 15-minute spiritual practice for yourself, and do that. And do it on alternate days, do it on weekends. And once you actually start enjoying it, when you start seeing how it's transforming yourself, how it's allowing you to be more aware, how it's allowing you to be more introspective, you will automatically want to do it more. So that's my video for today. I hope it helped. It really took me a long time to actually get to do this because I was overthinking it a lot, and I'm glad that I finally did it. I hope it helps. And if there's anything more that you want me to talk about, if there's anything else that you're feeling stuck with, if you want me to make more videos about, to leave a comment. And I would love it if you subscribe to my channel for more videos. Bye bye.